Hey guys, Captain Grimm here, coming back with another spooky video for you guys. This time we're going to be talking about Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, Waverly Hills opened in 1910 as a two-story hospital to accommodate 40 to 50 tuberculosis patients in the early 1900s. Jefferson County was ravaged by an outbreak of tuberculosis, otherwise known as the White Plague. This prompted the construction of this new hospital. But the hospital closed in 1961 due to the antibiotic drug streptomycin that lowered the need for such a hospital. Now, after that, Waverly got turned into a nursing home, and then it changed hands since then to several different people. Well, back several years ago, it was owned by this couple that decided they wanted to open it up for ghost tours. Now, my parents back then, my mom and my stepdad, well, ex-stepdad, but still at the time he was my stepdad, they were in the Louisville Ghost Hunters Society. Now, the couple that owned Waverly Hills wanted the Louisville Ghost Hunters Society to do the ghost tours up there. Now, my mother was one of the officers in the group, and so she became one of the tour guides up there. Now, at the time, I was maybe 13, 14, 15, but I've always been a rather big guy, so I went with my mother as security on all of her groups to make sure that nobody wandered off or anything, because this building is just absolutely huge. I'm sure I've thrown some pictures up of it on the screen for you guys. If not, I'm throwing one up now. And it was very easy for people to get lost inside this building. Now, during the time that this building was running, thousands, and I mean thousands, of people died. And when they did, they were taken down the back, down a body chute to the bottom of the hill. Now, they did this for several reasons. One, they didn't want to cause demotivation and panic with the other patients, because they kept seeing a hearse driving up the hill every 5 minutes, because that's literally almost how quick people would die. So instead of that, they would take them around back under this awning that went all the way to this tunnel, and then they'd just take them down the tunnel, and that way nobody would ever see them going down. And also in the winter, the tunnel was heated, and the doctors would park at the bottom of the hill and walk up the tunnel. It's called by many different names. Some people call it the body chute, others call it the death tunnel. There's been a movie made about it. It's on TV, on Ghost Hunters and everything all the time. Now, some of my experiences in there, one of the things that the bottom floor, they've now turned into a haunted house. But the bottom floor was mostly where the offices and stuff were. When you first got infected with TB, you'd start out on the second floor, and then as you got sicker, you'd work your way up. Now, one of the things with tuberculosis is if you survive with it long enough, you can start to go mad. Those patients they would put on the top floor, the insane ones. But the fourth floor, I always noticed from my experience, had the most activity, because that was the floor that the most people died on. That was when you were just absolutely so bad with the disease, but you hadn't gone insane yet. And there's just seems to be a lot of pain on that floor. Now, there's stories about a little boy named Timmy or Jimmy, or I can't really remember what his name is, but he has a ball. As some of the security guards and stuff there talked about that they would find it in different places, and then if they moved it and put it somewhere else, they would come back a couple hours later and the ball would be gone. Now, one night I decided when I was up there kind of walking around, I was standing back from my mother's group, and I thought, I'm going to try this. And so I kind of lightly rolled the ball down the hallway. Nothing happened. I went and picked it up. Then I set it in one of the rooms, and I walked out, and we went on for a little bit, and when I came back, it was in the room on the opposite side of the hallway. Now, nobody had come back around down that way. It just changed rooms. So a little bit later, I was holding the ball, and the moonlight wasn't shining in towards the back half of the hallway, but I knew that there was a wall further down there, so if I was to take the ball and to bounce it, that I should eventually hear it hit the back wall. So I did this, and about the time that it should have hit, it just quit bouncing. No noise. Dead silence. I stood there for a moment, and all the hairs on my body and on the back of my neck stood up, and I got goosebumps, and I just stood there freaking out listening. I'm like, well, what happened to the ball? Well, then I hear it start bouncing again, and then it comes flying out of the darkness and hits me right in the chest. Just out of nowhere. So then I took the ball again and I bounced it down the hallway, and the same thing happened, but the ball never came back. At this point, I turned my flashlight on and I shined it down the hallway, and there was no ball. There was no sign of anything. And I searched the whole floor and I didn't find the ball. So we continued the tour, kept going on, and nothing else out of the ordinary happened. We saw some shadow people up on the 4th floor, where that's where if you kind of stare down a hallway or somewhere in the dark and you focus on one spot and everything, you can sometimes see what looks to be the shadows of people moving along the side of the hallways. It's a phenomenon that really happens a lot there inside of Waverly, especially on the 4th floor. You can see what looks like creatures crawling on the wall or going from room to room. I don't know if they're demons or what, but I've seen it myself, and it is a nightmarish thing to see. But as we continued our tour, nothing else out of the ordinary really happens until we get to the end of it. And we're going back out through the morgue down on the 1st floor, and there's the ball sitting by the door. I about died. Later, well, this is another story at another time, we were giving another tour. And we were in one of the operating rooms. My mom was giving her normal spiel of everything going on in this part of the hospital. Well, the door to the operating room, because they would do x-rays and other thing in it, it was a big, thick lead door. Like, the door wasn't even a door that could be opened by one person. It took at least 2 to 3 fully grown men to push open and close this door. So we'd always have to get volunteers from the group to be able to shut it, because we'd always make sure that we shut it whenever we started giving the tour. Had everybody crammed into the operating room. It was just really creepy, and it kind of added to it. Well, on this one particular night that we done it, we were all in there. The door was shut. There was nobody else in the building. We were the last tour of the night. And while Mom was telling the story and everything in there, I look over and I notice the door is starting to kind of move. And then we all hear the loud creak of the door as it opens up. There's nobody there. There's nobody opening the door, but this heavy door that takes 3 fully grown men to open is slowly opening right before our eyes. I immediately rush out and I check the hallway with my flashlight and everything, because I think somebody's messing with us. Again, I find absolutely no one. If you guys would like to learn more about Waverly Hills, you should be able to Google it. It comes on different shows and everything. If this video does good, I'm planning on making some more, tell you some more of my experiences up there. I've got several from the time up there, but just the weight of the place when you go up there, you can feel it. You can feel all the pain and sadness of the thousands, tens of thousands of people that died up there over the years from this horrible, horrible disease. There's no other place like it in the world. If you guys could leave a like on this video, comment, let me know if you like it and you want to hear more about Waverly Hills. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, and you ring that bell so you can get notified of all my creepy ass bullshit. And you guys remember, you're goddamn bloody fucking legends. Peace.